Obama to the rescue. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, why now? Why did Barack Obama decide to come out to publicly inject himself into the DOJ Flynn saga?
There is no precedent that anybody can find for someone who's been charged with perjury getting off scot-free. That's the kind of stuff where you begin to get worried that our basic understanding of rule of law is at risk.
Now, in the end, will the FBI's entrapment of Trump's former national security advisor be best known as Obamagate? Well, I'll tell you, many questions tonight need answering. Why did Obama know about Flynn's call with Kislyak before the acting attorney general even knew about it? Why didn't he tell the incoming president about those specific concerns? Why did Susan Rice write that memo to the file? We noted it at the time, this weird memo written at noon on Inauguration Day, the last possible second, saying that President Obama wanted everything done vis-a-vis Flynn by the book. We're going to address these questions in depth in a few moments. Now, sure, Obama wanted to get out in front of the obvious conclusions that he was greenlighting all of this anti-Trump effort from day one. But I also suspect another motivation is at play as well. One word: legacy. Does he want to be remembered for hope and change, or surveillance and setups? For the past 3 years, after his party's stinging loss in 2016, Barack Obama avoided pretty much tangling with the Trump administration. The only time, in fact, he seemed like the old Obama was in 2018, when he hit the campaign trail, even for losing candidates.
There are a lot of good reasons to come to Miami. You've got the ocean. You've got really good Cuban sandwiches. But the real reason I came down to Miami, because this Tuesday might be the most important election of our lifetimes. Politicians will always say that, but this time it's actually true.
Of course, with all the same swagger, he's going to parrot that line again when he's on the campaign trail for Joe Biden. Because it's not just the presidency on the line, it's Obama's entire legacy. When a brash political novice like Trump beat the Democrats in 2016, it wasn't just a repudiation of Hillary Clinton. It also was a rejection of what Obama had accomplished as well. Now, in case you've forgotten, after 8 years of Obama, race relations weren't better, they were worse. After 8 years of Obama, the right track, wrong track numbers were also bad. Wages were also flat. The Trans-Pacific Partnership was so lame that Obama supported it, even Hillary Clinton wouldn't run on it. The Paris Climate Accords, they were never ratified, so the Obama progressive utopia collapsed. No wonder Trump won. For the history books, he needs to turn that perception around. He needs to show the American people that they made a mistake in Trump, which may have compelled them, of course, them being the FBI, etc., to entrap Flynn in January. We're going to find out soon, I hope, all those details. Now, due to the global pandemic, President Obama now sees the November election as winnable. He doesn't want to be left being criticized as letting this one slip through the Democrats' fingers. But of course, there's one little problem here. Obama isn't on the ticket. And I don't think he's going to leave that high life at Netflix to become Joe's Secretary of State, do you? Thus, this all reminds me of, it's kind of like Hollywood trying to sell a movie sequel, but the lead actor from the original only ends up making a brief cameo in the new one. In this case, Obama at the Biden inauguration. The Democrats and their media poodles will flail away at President Trump for a pandemic that China started. We've seen that. But meanwhile, their presumptive nominee is actually incapable of standing up and taking questions from pretty much anyone, even comedians.
Been doing a lot of a lot of live stream things that I'm getting used to, but it amazes me that everybody is, tuning in to so many different ways to find out what's going on.
Well, they have a candidate who can't campaign, and the likely VP candidate, I don't think that's going to help him much either.
One nation under a groove. Can I get it on the? Wow.
Republicans who have been real defenders of the president.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like
and I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay.
I love the forced laughter. So how do you win an election when your ticket, if that ends up being the ticket, even if it's not, it's so lame? So are people to believe that Biden, watching everything that's happened just over the past few months, that Biden would better handle the pandemic than Trump? Please. He can't even handle an interview with The View.
The House and the the Senate, as of 10 minutes before I got in this call, for the program, looks like they're pretty close to a deal.
Sorry, I have to hold. I can't even believe that's someone running for president. Would Biden have worked better with our allies, I don't know, to stand up to China for its lying about the virus? Maybe they'll argue that. Well, that's absurd on its face.
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks, but guess what? They're not competition for us.
Which brings us back to why Obama has emerged from his important work at Netflix to inject himself back into politics. He's a smart guy. He obviously sees the points that I just laid out. He knows Biden is shaky and that he can't possibly match the grassroots energy of Trump on the trail. Obama knows it. Thus, a back-to-the-future strategy for Democrats may be their best bet. Ultimately, though, this shows, just think about it for a moment, it shows a complete intellectual bankruptcy on their part. They can't point to a single example as to why their policies would do better than Trump's, either before or after the coronavirus hit our shores. And they can't really put Biden out there for an extended period of time without America seeing his obvious frailty. For most candidates, being locked in the basement, that would be a bad thing. But for Biden, it's a gift. That leaves Obama to do the heavy lifting, who needs Biden, obviously, to win for his own legacy as much as his party's future. And that's the angle.